Welcome to week 10 of the Tim and Chuck Show, presented by Batt & Stevens Body Shop. I am Tim McDonough, joined by my esteemed colleague Chuck Martinez-Brandon. We are here on location at Frickers, and Chuck, the Liberty Center Band with that nice welcome.
Oh man, you know, the Liberty Center Band is entertaining, and that was a great intro. Love listening to those guys.
That was great. Now, look what we have in front of us today.
Man, lots of protein options. We got some barbecue pulled pork pizza,
yes,
and you know, barbecue cheddar bacon in your face burger.
Yeah, that's awesome. Frickers treats us well.
That's great.
All right, Chuck, let's jump right into this. It's week 10. You know what that means? Next week we're talking playoffs.
Yeah.
Let's look at this scenario for the area, Chuck. We've got a couple of teams here that, according to JoeITell.com, control their own destiny. We've got OG in Division 4, and we've got Swanton in Division 5. A couple of teams that only have one loss. They haven't clinched the playoffs yet.
Yeah, that's scary. And I mean, those are both really good teams too. So for them not to have clinched, that says a lot about the competition.
Well, as far as Joe Itell is concerned, we do have some teams that have clinched. We've got Patrick Henry in Division 6. We've got Liberty Center in Division 6. We've got a team that you might know a little bit about, Ayersville, since you're the defensive coordinator there, have clinched a berth. And then you have teams like Hicksville in Division 7 that have also clinched a berth. That's a good number of teams in our area.
That is, you know, especially for leagues like the GMC and the NWAL, who get overlooked a lot when you get out of our area. That says a lot about the football that they can play in those leagues. Now,
we have some teams, Chuck, that are either in position or kind of on the bubble and maybe need some help. We got Montpelier sitting in 8th in Division 6. Now, that's a team that was in the NWAL, is now sitting 7-2 after the move to the TAC. We've got Napoleon, big loss last week, knocked them back to 11th in Division 4. And we've got Edgerton sitting there at 6-3, 9th in Division 7, and Tenora 10th in Division 6. So we have some teams that probably going to need some help.
Yeah, you know, it says control your own destiny, and all you can do is win. And that's what you'd rather have it in your own hands. With winning, you hate to think that you got to worry about some team that you've never even heard of winning or losing, but sometimes that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and we'll be here to clear the whole playoff picture up next week because we'll know who's in.
Clear as the mommy.
That's correct, Chuck. That is correct. All right, Chuck. Now let's go to some of the video here, and let's start with Liberty Center head coach Rex Lindgren. 251, 104-1. Last week was his last regular season home game with the Tigers. Unfortunately, they fell to Swanton for him, but I mean, this guy's a legend.
Oh, you know, and working all those years in the sports department, loved being around Coach Lindgren. He was a great guy, and the thing that I always laughed at the hardest was the worse he told you his team was. We're slow, we're not very physical. The more he did that, the better you knew they were going to be.
Yeah, the man won a state title in 1997, state runners-up in 93 and 98. He got the best out of his teams, and he's hoping to do that again before this season is over.
If there's anybody that can get one more drop out of that team, it'll be Coach Rex.
Yeah, you know, we congratulate him on a great career, and we hope him a successful playoff run. Unless he plays you guys, right?
Right.
Had to throw that in there. All right, Chuck. Now we've got a few things here. Let's talk about the people with the orange hair that lights up. It's close to Halloween at the Liberty Center game last week.
Yep. That's just great stuff.
Yeah, we'll let the picture do the talking on that one. All right, now we have to spotlight a player that we thought stood out, just running all over the place. We've got Liberty Center linebacker Christian Cali, 5'10", 190. I mean, he's making plays, putting his nose in there. I mean, he was all over the field.
Yeah, and that's what you love, you know, especially as a defensive coach and a linebacker coach specifically. You love to see linebackers that can make plays sideline to sideline, just running downhill and putting hats on people. And that's what he did last week. Man, heck of an effort, heck of a game.
Well, there's a play where he caused a fumble, and then he runs and dives for the ball. He didn't come up with it, but he was pretty happy about it. There's other clips of him tackling on a play. There's a sideline play here where he just comes across the field and makes a hit. I mean, he was just doing it all.
Yeah, and when you do that, you get in people's heads because ball carriers know that you're coming. So, you know, they might squeeze the ball a little tighter. They might go down early. They might, have the yips and fumble a little bit more often just because he's able to make plays all over the field.
Now we're going to hit you with some bonus footage from last week. We've got a school record that will never be broken. Dawson Dales from Ayersville, from his 1-yard line, connects with Jacob Miller, 99-yard touchdown play, Chuck. What about that?
Yeah, it's great. The offensive line did a great job blocking. R.J. Addington did a great job of picking up the blitz, and Dawson throws it out there. Jacob adjusts and makes a great play. I told him afterwards, we were talking, I said, that's a record that could never be broken, guys. And they looked at me like it hadn't sunk in yet, but they're like, man, I'll be in the record books forever. And that's a mighty long time.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who don't know about Dawson Dale, it's not only is he the quarterback, but he doubles as a linebacker. Yeah. The normal quarterback linebacker,
right.
going two ways, okay, whatever. Here's a couple of plays of Dawson making some hits. Chuck, check these out. Go ahead and talk about this.
Yeah, the first one here, he's coming from his middle linebacker spot. He's coming over to the sideline, and the player has already made contact with one defender, and as he's spinning around, Dawson just lays the wood on him, and again, making plays sideline to sideline. Dawson's only got one gear, and that's full open, pedal to the metal all the time. And then the second play here, he's a middle linebacker, and he reads, jailbreak screen. He comes flying downhill, splits 3 defenders.
3.
And, good form tackle, puts his shoulder into it, and just lights up another defender. And he's one of those guys, too, that you have to know where he's at because he's going to hit you.
Yeah, the one where he split the 3 defenders, just impresses me. Yeah. So that's our bonus footage this week. Now, Chuck, let's get into the Varsity Club Apparel Company Game of the Week. We were just talking about those pilots. You guys are 9-0, 6-0 in the GMC. Welcoming in Hicksville, 7-2, also 6-0 in the GMC. Like we said, both teams have clinched playoff berths, but this is for the GMC crown, and possibly for you guys a home game in the playoffs.
Right, and for us, Ayersville, with all their success in the past in the playoffs, they've never hosted a playoff game, so that's really something that our kids are excited about. And same way for Hicksville. They have a lot that they've been playing for this year, remembering their teammate that passed away, Noah Carrickson. They did a little dedication for him last week. And then you've got playoffs and GMC title and all these other things rolled into this big ball in week 10 that has everybody really excited.
Well, the thing about these two teams, Chuck, is the quarterbacks are the guys that stir the drink in that offense. We already talked about Dawson Dale's. I think, 1,800 yards passing, 29 TDs. And then you've got Jake Greer for Hicksville, 1,600 yards passing, 21 TDs. Maybe talk about what both defenses have to do to slow down those guys on that side of the ball.
Yeah, if you're looking at Hicksville's offense, the Greer kid has a heck of an arm. He's got a strong arm. He can throw across his body, get it to the other side of the field, and drop it in a bucket. He's very strong armed, very accurate, and our DB is really going to have their work cut out for him, trying to slow him down. Their wide receivers, they have Tunis and Camaso and those guys that are fast. They run the routes hard. They get into their breaks fast. So it's really going to be a tough task for our DBs to cover these guys.
And what about on the flip side? What do you see from Hicksville's defense that are going to have to slow you guys down?
Yeah, Hicksville's defense, they're going to have to worry about what angle we're going to come from. We have a solid running attack with Casey Williams coming back and R.J. Addington and Mike McGuire. Then we have great wide receivers. Ethan Schlachter's been catching a lot of passes from tight end, and Mikey McGuire and obviously Jake Miller. So we have a lot of weapons that they're going to have to try to defend, and that makes it easier for our offense maybe to matriculate down the field a little bit when defenses can't just stuff the box or just drop into pass coverage.
Well, it's a great matchup for Week 10. It's so much at stake. It's going to be a great game. Can't wait to see the footage. So all you Hicksville and Ayersville fans, be ready for Ethan.
That's right.
Yeah,
He'll
that's
get
right.
you.
Now, Chuck, it's time for a little thing that we like to call the Rose Insurance Collision of the Week. What do they say about that, Chuck?
Hits may come and hits may go at 7:05 every Friday night, but there's only one Rose Insurance Collision of the Week.
What do you have this week, Chuck?
Coming from that Liberty Center Swanton game last week, we've got Swanton quarterback Merrick Spees. He's dropping back to pass, but he gets, a blitz off the edge from Liberty Center's Christian Dahl, and he just comes up, rips the arms through, and starts driving him back, forcing the quarterback to throw a backward pass that's considered a fumble, and Liberty Center recovers it. And then, just to add to it, I'm going to take you down to the ground, too, just to add insult to injury.
That is your Rose Insurance Collision of the Week. And now it's time for our Jacobs Meets Play of the Week from that same game. We have Swanton. They are down 10-0 late in the second quarter, driving. We've got quarterback Merrick Spees going back to pass. Throws the ball up to Big Gunner Oaks, all 6'5", 205 pounds of him. Liberty Center defenders Northwest and Zane Peterson are trying to do whatever they can to stop him. Gunner Oaks makes the catch, pulls it down. Liberty Center and Swanton are now 10-7 going into half. Swanton gets the ball to start the second half, drives down, Spieth ends a drive with a quarterback sneak, and suddenly Swanton's on top, and they go on to the win.
Yeah, you can't coach 6'5". You know, that's tough to defend.
That's getting it done. Now, Chuck, you know, we'd like to let people know we're out there on social media. You
Yes.
can follow us on Facebook, you know, Tim Chuck Show, at Tim Chuck Show on Twitter. Engage with us. We're engaging.
Yeah. Tweet. We like to tweet.
And
Or Twitter.
We do. Yes. And whatever else they call it.
Yeah, and all that other stuff.
All right, Chuck. Now, one last thing before we get out of here for week 10. Any words of wisdom?
You know, with all this talk of league titles and playoffs and all these things that are coming in this week, you know, Tim, I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, it's got to be an 11.
See you next week.